The blade dealer, make a nigga forfeit, yeah, cause I'm the realest. Hey, niggas talking short shit, nah, I need a million.
Big stepper, yeah, bitch, I be stepping. Coolin' kit with the flip switch, bitch, that's the weapon. No drama.
Welcome to New York Giants Full Access.
This legend bring them sounds in one time.
I'm hard, and we got you. And that's it, man. Go purchase Big Pat Sports Talk merch and support the family, man. And welcome to Big Pat Sports Talk. Thank you for your support. What's going on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all platforms? Welcome to another episode of New York Giants Full Access with your boy Big Pat Sports Talk. And today we're going to be talking about Miss Kim Jones, New York Giants beat reporter, on the cartoon show. I say a lot of the times. This guy always has some wild takes. Miss Kim Jones and Plexico Burress, they talk about the future of Daniel Jones with the New York Giants, and they believe this is his last gasp and last chance with the New York Giants to prove that he can move forward with that new contract. They're going to talk about what he needs to do and how he needs to do it. And do I agree that this might be Daniel Jones' last chance with the Giants? Yes, I do. Because he has the big contract. He has the $40 million a year contract. And he has no more guaranteed money in that contract after this year, so they can release him and take a minimum hit as far as releasing him. So let's hear what they have to say. You know, I'm going to chime in and go ahead and do this reaction for you guys. So let's get into it.
Lost our best offensive player. From a Daniel Jones standpoint, if he doesn't go out and have a year where he makes progress or see him making progress to be a franchise quarterback, what do you think the Giants do with him at the end of the season, being that this is his last year with guaranteed money?
I think they release him or try to find – they're going to try to find a trade partner with a team first. They're going to see if they can get any type of trade value for him, a third rounder, fourth rounder, whatever that may be, if he doesn't produce the way they want him to produce. Now, there's a couple of scenarios to where even if we do make the playoffs and he still may get cut or traded, like if we make it into the playoffs and we get blew out the first playoff game, they still might get rid of him. If we make the playoffs and it's because the defense just balled out of their minds and the offense was still terrible, but the defense was so good we make the playoffs, I think they still get rid of him, which is a fair thing to do. If they put that offensive line in front of him and they're blocking and he's still not able to find Malik Neighbors, Hyatt, or Slayton, or Wan'Dale Robinson, or Theo Johnson, they're going to move on. And I'll say this, they'll probably still move on if he has a decent season and we don't make the playoffs. They'll probably still move on. They'll probably find a trade partner and just go with their guy. So there's a couple of scenarios for Daniel Jones after this season, just to be real and honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just said if guaranteed money's gone, he would probably be gone too, I have to believe. Listen, Brian Daboll got what his three predecessors as head coach of the Giants didn't, and that's a third year in the position of head coach. That's how much instability the Giants have had. They crave stability. They would absolutely love for Daniel Jones to find his way. Neighbors can help. Some other guys can help. The offensive line's better. And then they can talk about being really, a credible offense again.
Facts. That's what you want for this team. Like my last video when they say you should be afraid if Daniel Jones progresses with Malik Neighbors, that's absolutely ignorant. Because if Daniel Jones shows you that he can be the guy, you've won. You've shown that, okay, now I have my guy. Now I could just go on and add pieces to what I already have. That's the best case scenario. Okay, Daniel Jones showed that if we have a decent offensive line ranked in the low 20s, that we can still be a playoff team. Now let's find a way to make this offensive line a top offensive line. Hell, if Malik Neighbors gets over 1,000 yards and somebody doesn't show they can be the number 2 receiver, they can get a number 2 receiver, or they could go out to try to get a premier receiver like Ayuk or T. Higgins or somebody to pair with Malik Neighbors. Because we know that we have our quarterback. We know that our quarterback can get the ball to our receivers if we protect them. If we scheme correctly, he can do the job. That's what you want to see. That stops you from having to trade up in the draft and waste draft capital to try to get a quarterback that you don't really know what he can really do, and you're hoping that he can come and be the franchise quarterback, and then if he fails, you're right back at the same cycle. So if Daniel Jones proves that he could be the guy, he's actually a bargain at $40 million, whether you like it or not. So, yeah, I definitely know that's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, he flops. And your offensive line is bad. And now Malik Neighbors' confidence may be a little bit shot because he couldn't get the ball because Daniel Jones couldn't get on the ball, and the offensive line didn't allow Daniel Jones to get on the ball. Your running game is going to be in shot. You might need another running back after this year. Maybe Devin Singletary is not a guy that you could count on to get you decent yards. Who knows? There's so many scenarios that could go on to where a lot of people can leave this team. Dabo can lead this team. Maybe Joe Shane can lead this team. Daniel Jones can lead this team. Maybe some of the defensive players leave this team now. So it is what it is, man. I do believe that Daniel Jones producing for this team, Daniel Jones being able to progress with weapons around him and the offensive line is the best case scenario for this team. But there's a case where it could be a best case scenario if Daniel Jones doesn't perform, but your offensive line is performing and your weapons are legit. And if you have a top pick, maybe one of the top quarterbacks next year, like Shedeur Sanders or somebody out there, can come in and be that guy for you because you already have a set foundation, what I've been saying for the past 3 years. Get your foundation set. Get your offensive line set. Get them a weapon. Get your defensive line set. And let's see what this quarterback can do, because if he fails but the offensive line is blocking and the receivers are getting open and your quarterback fails, that now you know that it's truly all on the quarterback. But you can't possibly know that if you have no pillars to stand on. But let's get back into the video.
Kim, I view the Giants over the last 2 years in a different manner than most people, and I feel like they got their years flipped. Everyone expected when Brian Dable came in with Joe Shane, the general manager,
right.
Year one was going to stink, but we all accept it's going to stink because we got to shed some contracts, rebuild, find some young guys in the draft, a couple free agents, and year two, okay, now let's hope we're alive for a wild card, right? They get the wild card in year one. They win a playoff game in year one. And Danny did play very well in that game against the Minnesota Vikings. Saquon, of course, had a great day as well to win that road playoff game. And then year two went backwards from a standpoint of, I think, the 5-year plan that a lot of coaches and general managers have.
In fact, a lot of people don't understand that this was going to be a progress regardless of how it went. The very first year was a surprise. We came out and we hit some people in the mouth and we made it to the playoffs and won a playoff game. And then the second year, a slew of injuries happened to us again. Daniel Jones got hurt. Barkley got hurt. Waller got hurt. Evan Neal got hurt. Thomas got hurt. Glowinski was hurt. Bredesen was hurt. John Michael Schmitz was hurt. Bellinger was hurt. This team just had so many people hurt. Ojulari was hurt. And Trey Hawkins didn't turn out to be the cornerback too that we needed. Xavier McKinney didn't start playing well towards mid-season. Wan'Dale Robinson was hurt. There was a lot of things that went into this past season. The reason why we didn't succeed the way that we thought we could succeed after that good first year. And we went 6-11, and hell, 3 games. If 3 games go our way, we might be in the playoffs again. Who knows? But we had a lot of people hurt, man, and that really derailed our season, man, because man, losing Andrew Thomas might have been the worst injury on the year because the offensive line went from bad to just historically bad. You know, so that really hurt this team. Daniel Jones getting hurt really hurt this team. Saquon Barkley getting hurt once again hurt this team. You know, and the years will flip, man. What we were supposed to do the first year, we were supposed to do the second year. What we did the second year, we were supposed to do the first year. So that's why people are trying to chime in talking about, oh, Joe Shane and Brian Daboll could be fired after this year. Like, how? Unless they have the worst record in the NFL, how can you fire those guys after their very first season they made the playoffs? Because you had 2 seasons where you were 6-11 after that, you're going to fire the guy? And in the second season, there was a slew of injuries. What happens if we get a slew of injuries again this season? You just going to fire him? I don't see why you would just fire those guys like that after the third season, man. You gotta have some type of consistency with this team, man. If this team comes out next year, let's say they go 8-9 or 9-8, you still gonna fire Brian Daboll and Joe Shane? So we gonna see what the Giants do this upcoming season. We definitely gonna have eyes on Daniel Jones because there's no more Saquon Barkley. So you know the eyes are gonna be just beaming on Daniel Jones all this season. You're gonna have eyes on Malik Neighbors to see if he's really the number one guy, that number one receiver that he could be. You're gonna have eyes on Jalen Hyatt. You're gonna have eyes on Evan Neal to see if he can progress. You're gonna have eyes on John Michael Schmitz. You're definitely going to have eyes on guys like Thibodeau and Brian Burns to see if they could get this pass rush back to greatness. You're going to have eyes on Michael McFadden to see if he can produce like he did last season, but with better tackling. You're going to have eyes on Banks. You're going to have eyes on Cordell Flott if he's the number 2 corner coming into this year. You're going to have eyes on Tyler Nubin. Can he replace Xavier McKinney? You're going to have a lot of storylines with this team. And not to mention, you're going to have eyes on Brian Daboll and Kafka to see if they get into it. You're going to have eyes on our special teams to see if our special teams coordinator can be better. You're going to have eyes on the whole offensive line to see if our new coach is any better than what OG Bobby Johnson was. I mean, it's going to be a season full of hate. It's going to be a season full of people wanting people to fail, such as Daniel Jones. It's going to be a season of seeing if this team can get out of this slump that they've been in the past decade of being one of the worst teams in the league. I mean, we did do some things in 2022 and 2016. We made the playoffs those 2 years, but other than that, we've been getting our butts whooped. So it is what it is, man. Do I think this is Daniel Jones' last hoorah with the Giants? Yes, I do. Because if he doesn't produce this year, there's no reason why they will keep Daniel Jones again and pay him the latter part of his contract. They would get out of that contract and they will go find either a veteran to bridge if they don't like none of the rookie quarterbacks coming out in the 2025 class. Or you may see a Shedeur Sanders. You may see a Gabriel. You may see one of the quarterbacks coming out in 2025 on the New York Giants, and it's going to, we're going to return. But hopefully we have a foundation in place to where the new quarterback can come in and succeed. So I do appreciate, segments like this. There was no real bashing. It was just real football talk. They were talking about Daniel Jones and the loss of Saquon Barkley and the expectations for the Giants, the expectations for our rookies. So I do appreciate segments such as these where there's not an agenda just being pushed just to save a narrative. You know what I'm saying? So I like this segment, and I do agree with them. This will be Daniel Jones' last hurrah if he doesn't produce. Now, do I agree with Brian Daboll being on the hot seat? No. I don't agree with anybody in this regime as far as the coaching and the managers being on the hot seat for anything right now. This is a work in progress, and you have to let these guys figure it out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying keeping them 10 seasons if they have 10 losing seasons, but you can't keep getting rid of coaches after their second and third year and expect your franchise to be good. Like, it doesn't really happen that way, man. Your best franchises of all time have all had coaches with long tenures with the team. So, can't wait for this season. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button, and that big blue join button to talk your talk with Big Pat Sports Talk and join the Big Blue crew. Link is always going to be in the video. And go cop you some merch, man. Go cop you some merch from the Big Pat Sports Shop. The link is in the description. All you gotta do is click, get your merch, and it'll be delivered to you on time. So go ahead, get some of that merch, man, and support the content, support the Big Blue crew, support the Big Blue Crew Sports Network. Man, I'm just happy being able to do these videos for you guys. But until the next episode, you know what it is, man. Peace.
Hitting the mic, spitting the facts, coming with full access. Big Pat in the house with giant tactics. Eli's handoff, rapping the classics. 90s beats, we blast this in New York. Big Blue. Where the G-men roam, Super Bowls in the vault, that's the Empire's home. Red, white, and blue, where the legends have grown. Giants full access, this the zone, got the tone.